But it is time for our weekly get-together. We talk twice a week with Doug Wells from Catena, Mercedes-Benz of Edison. He, of course, is a big part of our weekly WCTC Pro Football Pick'em Challenge that we get to play on the website. And let me just congratulate him on an absolutely outstanding week that he had with the week gone by in pro football. And, Doug, how about you? 13 out of 14, my man. That is a spectacular week for you, and I offer congratulations because you beat me very, very resoundingly this week. So congratulations to you, man.
Not too bad. I had to try and catch up to you.
Yeah, and you have narrowed the gap a little bit. Tommy G is still whipping the two of us, but it is pretty close as we head on into the next week. But I was at an event down at Garmani on Friday night, Doug, and I know that we did some things with Coleman and with your dealership and with them. In every gift bag was a beautiful Catena Mercedes-Benz of Edison travel mug. I got this one. It's a beautiful, like a blue pearl color. I drink my hot coffee out of that thing so proudly, but everybody got to take home one of these really awesome mugs, so thank you so much for donating them.
That was the sipping shop.
Yeah, that was it. Great time, great turnout too. That was a lot of fun. But speaking, of course, of Mercedes-Benz, talk about the car that you're driving in today and what you've been using to get around town.
Yeah, I'm driving a brand new 2019 GLE, and it's an incredible. If you're looking for the ultimate 5-passenger SUV, you can't beat this truck.
Nice. And 5 people very comfortably, and it's kind of a luxurious kind of feel when you're in this car, Doug?
It's the type of car that when you want to go out to dinner fancy on a Saturday night, you can take it. But it's so versatile, you want to go to Home Depot on Sunday and put the seats down flat and bring everything in. It's the perfect vehicle.
I could see myself being in that car, and it's like, okay, Bert, we're here, let's go. And I'd be like, nah, I kind of like sitting in the car. Is it okay if I wait in here? Probably one of those kind of cars, right? Awesome. That's great. But again, great week for you. The only game that you had was not correct, Doug. You had Denver pulling off the upset in Kansas City, and they did score first, and they kind of hung around for a bit. But every other single game you got correct. Well, was it me, or are we starting to get a feel for who the good teams are and who the not-so-good teams are? Because you still have a lot of games that are just separated by one score. They could really go either way.
Well, you're starting to get the feel, and certain teams are trying to step it up. And the other teams are either getting beat up or lost a lot of key players, and the wear and tear of the first half of the season is starting to show.
Yeah, it really is. And some of the games that were really, really close, especially those late afternoon games, that Arizona-San Francisco game, which we said was going to be the worst one of the weekend, actually came right down to the end. Arizona was down in the fourth quarter. They rallied and put some points on the board, and the 49ers had the ball last, and an errant snap that went over the quarterback's head, and the clock ran out. And I said, that's no way to lose a game. That's really awful. But we both had Arizona in that game. And it's the game that certainly lived up to the hype. That Green Bay Rams game, Doug, that was fantastic. Are you familiar with the fumble there that the Packers player had at the end? Did you see the game?
Yep.
That player was told by the coach specifically, kneel in the end zone, get Aaron Rodgers on the field, and let's go down the field and win this game. He goes against the coach's direct orders, runs out of the end zone, fumbles the ball, and really loses the game for the Packers. If you're the coach of the Packers, Doug, how do you punish that player? How do you discipline that player when he does that?
You have to. To me, you got to set the ground rules. You got to tell everybody what has to be done. You got to let the team know if you disobey somebody's orders that you're going to lose the playing time.
Yeah, and you got
I think
maybe the best quarterback in the last 15 years on the sidelines. You know what? Do what the coach says and get the quarterback on the field, right?
Yeah, if they had got him on the field, Rodgers is a guy that's going to find a way to get it done.
He always does. It's like, okay, how much time is on the clock? How many points do we need? How many yards do we have to go? All right, let's go do this. And then to not even get him a chance to get on the field, that hurt is going to sting Green Bay for a while. I thought I was watching a preview of the NFC title game. There's no doubt these two teams could very easily play again when we get to January.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think it's going to be a different outcome.
Oh, okay. We'll see. Do you think the Rams will be undefeated still by then, Doug? What do you think? They still have Seattle to play. Seattle still comes to town. It's going to be a tough thing to go for that undefeated schedule, right?
I agree. And Seattle, they've been playing some really, really tough ball, and they've had some games that they should not have lost.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're still kind of tough. They still got that tough defense. You're right. But that's
How do you feel about New England?
New England, yeah, we knew no problem with Buffalo. They pulled away late last night. All is right in the world, Doug, when the New England Patriots are in first place and the Jets are looking up at them. But that win over Kansas City, I think, is still going to play in their favor. Kansas City needs to lose another game to somebody for New England to kind of like earn the tiebreaker against them, because right now they still have more losses. But I feel good that New England, Kansas City, these teams are definitely in playoff mode. Houston looked great last week against Miami. I think they're kind of getting things in ship shape here. That AFC has got some great teams. And the NFC, too. Things are shaping up well. I mean, even the Redskins, who did not look that great against the Giants, they still played well enough to win. They're still a first-place team. And how bad did the Giants look against a Redskins team that wasn't even that special? This Giants team, they're going to get blown up, Doug. They have to.
Well, it seems like for some reason it just seems like that they don't play the whole game. And it just, 1 minute they look like the team just gels for a few minutes and they look like a monstrous team, and then they just turn around and look like a completely different team 5 minutes later.
Yeah. I don't know why that happens.
Well, I think it's a matter of how they, get everybody's mindset and how they manage to make sure that everybody has the endurance level. I mean, look at New England. New England's players, when you play for New England, you already know that your mindset is you're playing all the way through the Super Bowl. So you're playing a lot more games.
You're right.
And their endurance level has to be through the roof. And even the backup players have to be on point. Because if you don't, it's one team that they could lose a major player and somebody steps in and turns into a star.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's how Tom Brady got started, sure.
And that's what I think the Giants are missing. I think they need to get more about team. I think especially in the summertime, they got to get that. They got to get there early. They got to build endurance. They've got to really do team building.
Yeah. What do you do about Odell Beckham? He's I love the guy, Doug. He's incredibly talented. I think he's one of the most exciting and electrifying players in the NFL. Is the distractions worth having him around? I mean, I don't know how serious they are about entertaining trade offers for him, but he's a guy that I'd like to think you could build a team around, but he's so problematic the other 6 days of the week with distractions and talking and shooting his mouth off and saying he doesn't like water. Is it worth all this money to have a guy so talented, but he's just like he's almost like a cancer in the locker room?
Well, to me, you got to look. To me, the fish starts to stink from the head down. So, if the coach, is taking control of the team, he would have more control over Odell. Odell's going to be his personality is his personality. It's part of what makes him as talented as he is.
Yeah.
It drives him.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to learn how to adapt to that personality and actually make it work for you.
Yeah, try to turn that energy into something positive, right?
And when you have, I don't care what team it is, when you have somebody that's that talented and the team is floundering, that person is not a type of person that likes to lose. They don't like to fail. That's what drives them. And they're going to be a certain type of, they're going to mouth off. The key is you got to try and get the whole team with this, I'd say, they got to center around the focus of what they want to get done and make it happen.
Yeah, you're right. Try to just take that talent and, just get the guy to focus on the field and really get out there and make a difference. But hopefully going forward he will. Our winner this week, Doug, had a perfect week. It was Gary from Hillsborough, got every game correctly, so congratulations to him, and he gets some Rutgers tickets for his efforts. And he's also in the running now as everybody continues to move along toward the grand prize. Fantastic remote control car, courtesy of Doug Wells and Ray Catena Mercedes-Benz of Edison. Doug, was that the car that you brought to Garmani a couple Sundays ago? Was that the car that people are playing for, or one like that?
That is just like that one they're going to play for. Yes.
That was so cool. All right. But I have a picture of that I want to post, and I also just put up a picture of the coffee mug, too, that you guys were giving out. So as far as our standings go, you have narrowed the gap to just one game. Doug, I would call this a statistical tie between you and I. If you and I were running for mayor, it would be a deadlock. It would be tied. It's 70-69, and we got a half a season to go. So it's almost like we're starting over now with 8 games to go, and we'll get to our 9-week picks for week 9 coming up when we can reconvene on Thursday. But, Doug, this has been a lot of fun, and thank you so much. We're only halfway home. You and I, of course, are competing throughout the season against all the other players as well. But thank you so much for this, and I look forward to every single game every Sunday now. I used to not care at all if some of these games were going on, but now it's like, oh my God, I got to have this game. Doug has this team. I need to have this one. You've made it so much interesting and much more fun for me, so I thank you for that, Doug.
Well, I appreciate it, and you know me, I'm going for the free meal.
Yes, that's right. And if this continues, you'll be getting that free wheel, my man. That's for sure. No doubt about it. Doug Wells, have a great day, my man. Great talking to you. And Thursday we'll chat here, and we'll have our picks for Week 9 coming up. All right?
All right. Thank you so much.